because I literally told him, okay, either you change, you leave those people, and we start fresh, or I'm out.
What's up, Lord family? Welcome back to another video. As you guys know, we're here with a new couple today. You guys want to introduce yourself?
Ready? My name is Jessica.
My name is Darwin.
And we're from the Fab family.
All right, guys. So we're here with the Fab family today, and today we'll be having a discussion about relationship. As you guys know, this topic we're doing is just all about relationship and stuff like that. And people come in, they talk about their experience in relationship and stuff they're going through or they went through. I know they overcame it and stuff like that. So today we got a Fab family with us, and they'll be sharing some experience with us. Maybe we can learn from them, and it's something for us to take from it and appreciate them being here, you know. So thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, of course.
Hi, Lloyd family.
So first I want to say, how was the ride coming over here?
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, we're not that far from here anyway, so
It worked out. Everything's just the universe connected.
It's a little weird. We go in the car and the camera right there. You gotta turn back to us. So we're gonna just bear with us for now. This is the easiest way we can do it right now in the car.
No worries.
So as long as we can spread the word out there, let people get inspired or learn something, that's what we're here for, right?
Yes.
absolutely.
So go ahead, baby.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask, how long have you guys been together?
You?
So we've been together. We met when we were 16.
Okay. Awesome.
But obviously at that point it was on and off, but we had a very strong connection, and we officially been together since 2011. So it's been,
Got married in 2016. So
when we got officially married in 2016, but we started living together in 2011, so it's been a while.
it's been a long ride.
And you guys decided to have kids into your marriage like 5 years after, 2 years after, 1 year?
We actually had our kid before we got married, our son.
Yeah, but we were living together.
Yeah, we was living together, but before marriage.
It just happened. It wasn't planned.
That one was not planned.
That's awesome.
But it worked out, you know. We had a very good communication. We've had our ups and downs, but we saw eye to eye when it came to having children.
Right.
So, and we were both very responsible with the idea of kids. So I knew even if for some reason, God forbid, things weren't to work out between us, he was going to be a great father.
Right.
Nice.
That's awesome. So was there any hardship, like with a child get involved, like having a kid? No hardship at all, since it was like unexpected?
It was
financial.
Financially at the time it was, because she was working. We was both working, so but her job, when she went on leave, they was like, oh, we're not paying you until after you come back.
Wow.
So it was just like, back then, you know, I was working a minimum wage job. We was just barely making it. We were just happy that we was living together and just surviving. So when that came up, it was like, oh shit, it got real.
Yep. But it made us stronger for our second child.
Yeah.
But
When our second child came, we were like, no, like we were preparing for it. We were like, okay, we need to be okay financially. If I go on maternity leave, if I'm on a job, are they going to pay me maternity leave? Like, you have to be ready for these things. Sometimes you do things and you just don't think about the consequences. There's a lot of things that come with having a child.
Yeah. So that's part of it. So does it really like give you like a different level of to push to really grind for more? Like the first kid you have, knowing that you was working like a regular 9 to 5, the financial struggle that you was going through, did it give you like a push to want to get more, maybe want to get a better job, to get a better apartment? Did it give you that push, that drive behind it?
Definitely, and not only just financially, but so before having our kid, we was, I don't want to blame people, but we were just influenced by the wrong people or just things that was going on. But I feel like me especially, when my son was born, it was just like, all right, I need to choose. Like, am I gonna continue this reckless life, or am I gonna actually be there for my kid? And obviously we're here today, so that was
the right
I love this.
When you say reckless, what do you mean, like partying?
You know, like partying, clubbing, not really respecting her in a sense. So
I gave him the ultimatum because I always felt like as women and as men, we have to put the cards on the table. We need to be clear about what we want with our life and what we want our life in the future to be like.
Absolutely.
And we need to be clear with that other person. And if that other person isn't on board, what are you doing there? There's no point.
And we was 21, 22, so that's like a big commitment for you to say at that age, like, nah, forget partying. Like, I'm just gonna become a family man.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was like, honey, hunty, you have to choose.
He started young.
Yeah,
That's funny that he started early.
What age did you have your kid?
My kid at 21.
Okay.
Like, yeah. There, but I
It's
mean,
not easy.
Relationship, I was deep in by 18.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. At least, you know, as long as you know what you really want, your mindset, you just go for it, you know. But relationship, we all know relationship could be really, really hard sometimes. Sometimes we got rocky days, but the good thing about it is how we get through it, get past those bad days, and we get back to the happy days again. So what are some of the bad stuff, like breaking point or the hard stuff you get into relationship where you feel like, you know, you question your relationship?
Well,
but you guys actually overcame it now, because I know if you guys are happy, your body's here now, so it's all in the past. If you guys are comfortable enough to talk about it, then you could share that moment with somebody or in a relationship that's going through the same stuff. Maybe your way of overcoming it could help them overcome it currently right now. So that's it. You have anything you want to share with us today?
Well, I think that exactly when our son was born, that we had a lot of people that were just out here, no goals.
Okay.
And we can't say that we were like, nobody's perfect. Like, we were young ourselves. We just had friends. We didn't think about any of that stuff. We were very young. But I think that was one of the breaking points where we already had our son, and he was hanging out with all these guys who I was hanging out with at some point as well. And it was like they were like influencing to like, okay, let's just go out partying like every weekend. And it was just them by themselves. And I was like, I felt at that point like, okay, this is disrespectful. Like, we have a home as a couple, we have a child, we have responsibilities together, and it was almost like I wasn't part of the picture at that point. Like, they would just go out partying and I would just stay home, and I'm like, that's disrespectful. What if I was to do that to you?
Right.
How would you feel?
I think you actually did one time, and I was like,
Oh, you felt it?
I was like, wait a minute. But like, it's a little different. But.
Right. So it was that point where we had to grow up. We were young, but that's the route we decided to choose. We decided to have a relationship. We moved together. We had a child. So now we have to make grown people decisions.
Right.
And also depends too, because like she grew up with her family like together, like a real family.
Right.
Like, my family was not like that. So I needed to overcome that and say like, okay, I don't want to follow that pattern.
Right, you want to break that cycle.
It was all new to me. So for me to just turn the switch off and just cold turkey be like, okay, I'm going to become a family man, it was hard because I didn't have an example, a father figure to say like, okay, follow these steps.
But at that point, I felt like you were letting me down, because the reason why I got with him was because our conversations were about family, were about marriage in the future, were about all this stuff. And now here we are, we're living together, and now you're doing something different.
Because for me, it was more like, oh, I don't want my kid to like suffer in the future, but more like on a financial, like I don't want him to miss anything, but I was missing the actual family love part.
Right.
So like, I can give him the world, but if you don't have that like emotional family, really, you didn't really do anything for the
right. So how do you guys fix that, knowing that he was like going out party weekend? How do you bring it to him? You like tell him I need to change it, just like that? You gave him an ultimatum.
She spit in my face. She was like,
I
what
did.
You doing?
I told him, I was like, you're gonna have to choose, because I feel like they're not good for you. You're following in their footsteps. You're not defending me as your wife. You're not giving me the place I deserve.
Right.
So you're gonna have to choose. And what did you do?
How do you feel choosing, man?
It was that day though. I think it was the exact day that my son gave birth. Well, that she gave birth to my son. That I was just like, all right, this is it.
I know
he went,
and it was, you know, it was like bumpy after, you know, getting, again, like once a person loses trust in you, it's hard. You gotta prove it.
Right.
So
I was very specific with that. I was like, okay, you're telling me you're gonna change, but now I need proof. I'm not just gonna take your word for it. Like, you got to show me that this is gonna be better. Because I literally told him, okay, either you change, you leave those people, and we start fresh, or I'm out. Like, I don't care if I have a child with you. I'm not gonna live a miserable life. I'm not gonna be disrespected. I'm not gonna be treated how I shouldn't be treated. I give you 100%. I expect 100% back.
Absolutely.
And so I think he made the choice, and he proved it to me day in and day out. And that's what built the trust again.
That is awesome.
still doing it. Still doing
you
it.
still doing it?
You can't slack. You can't just say like, all right, I'm good.
No, you can never slack. That's right, because the relationship should constantly grow.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
it constantly has to grow.
Absolutely.
And people evolve and change. Even as we all get older, things are gonna change, and you're gonna have to still fulfill what she wants you, and she's gonna have to still fulfill things for you. And that's the beauty in a relationship, when someone could actually give you what you desire.
And there's gonna be even like new obstacles that come across that both of you like are never gonna experience. So it's like, okay, how do we overcome this one now?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially for us who started so young, because we basically grew up together.
Right.
We grew up together. Like, we were literally kids when we met each other. And I think this is an important message for people out there who are maybe dating young. I'm not giving you the goal to like cheat on you or just mess up, you know, because you're young. No. But you have to understand that you guys are so young. You guys are going to be growing and learning life together.
Right.
And people are entitled are entitled to make mistakes.
Yes.
It's the key is in how willing is the other person to accept that mistake and move forward and make a change for the better.
Right.
Now, if they're not willing to make that change for the better, then you have a problem.
Definitely.
They're not willing to grow, so maybe that's that time to part away.
Right. But if you see that there's that piece of that other person who actually wants to make the change and is making the effort and does what they need to do, that's a good sign.
That is a good sign.
You mentioned that if the friends that you used to hang out with on a weekend time, right? You mentioned that you hang with them also at one point or a few points. And you say you start to feel left out, they start doing it without you. If he had continued to like include you, would it be a problem like every weekend, but you part of it as well? He's not just leaving you out of it.
Maybe I wouldn't have felt so like something fishy was going on.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because as a woman, if there's secrecy going on, what's going on that I can't know about?
Right.
If there's always guys that out, like
if we're in a serious relationship and this is no games, you know, and we're talking about marriage in the future, I feel like there is no time for secrecy.
Right.
In a serious relationship. Now, if you're just out here messing around, do what you gotta do, you know. But if we're serious and we're talking about marriage and all this stuff, there is no time for secrecy. If I don't keep stuff from you, I don't see why you should keep stuff from me.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And so, yeah, if the little crowd would have been respectful towards me, because I was even feeling like it was like she's not important, you know. It would have been different. It definitely would have been different. I wouldn't have had an issue. Like, it wasn't like I was telling him you can't have friends.
Right.
It's the way those friends,
where are you going about it?
right, approach you or are around you that you start to feel like, wait a minute, like there's some type of disrespect going on here, and that's where you draw the line for me.
I think the friends back then didn't really align too with what we had towards the end. So I think eventually it would have probably died out.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we was young, so it was just like it's part of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So how did you guys feel like growing up? Like when you first have that kid, because we all live our life, but then when you have that baby, it's like dang, did this mess up our relationship? Because before it's like just you and I, we here, we there, you and I, we don't have to worry about nothing. We live in a free life. We could go out with the friends, and then we have a baby, and now it's like, okay, honey, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
How did that affect you in any way? Like when it came to adulthood?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, we were very outgoing all the time, and we like to be just out eating out or just going to the club or dancing. We love to dance. And so when a baby comes around, it changes your whole life. Like there is no you need a babysitter if you go out.
we was fortunate though that like her mom has always been here and has always helped us like with the kid. But if we didn't have that, I can only imagine like it's even worse.
10 times worse.
Because like we can call her whenever and just say like, hey, we want to do something.
Yeah.
And she has no problem.
You get a strong support.
Yeah, but I always never like to abuse.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, like even if I feel like I really want to go out, like back-to-back weekends. Like, you know, I'm always thinking about, you know, like it's really not my mom's responsibility to take care of my child.
Right.
You know, if I had that child. My mom didn't have that child. She didn't decide to do it. It was me. So it's tough. Being a parent is tough. Sometimes you know, as young as we are, we try to be stubborn and say like, we could do it. Like, it's not a big deal, but it really is. Like, you have to really think about it when you're gonna have kids. Like, you need
support, man.
Definitely. And if you don't have a support system, it's 100 times more difficult, and you will be going through it. Like, there's no sugarcoating it. You will be going through it if you have no support system, because just you yourself, and God forbid it doesn't work out with your partner. You know how many partners leave the wife and the wife stays with the kid, or the other way around. And it's tough for one parent to just be on top of that child.
The thing is, most people see like the nice pictures on Instagram. Like, oh, look at mommy and dad, and but they
look
don't
at
see
my world.
Movies.
They don't see what goes behind the scenes.
Yeah. It's
people only
there's a
put
beautiful
out,
part, but there's also a very serious part that you cannot neglect, because there could be trauma going on. Like it's a human that you're raising. It's a human that is gonna be an adult at some point, and your decisions as a parent is gonna influence that child as an adult.
Yep. It's gonna be someone's wife or someone's husband one day, someone's, you know, uncle, godparent, you know. So that is being a parent is something to me that you mentally really have to be ready. Yeah. Because that will break you.
It would.
It could break you. It could break the relationship too.
Absolutely.
And if you're not ready, you need to get ready. You need to get
fast.
ready.
Absolutely.
Because like we was talking, we was driving over here, we mentioned that marriage is not really for the weak, because you're gonna go through stuff in your relationship, and sometimes you also have to like think about the future for your sake of your kids, and like who's being involved in your decision. You know what I'm saying? If you should make a decision, who's gonna be affected? And most of the time it's the kids that suffer. You know, especially when you got kids in the picture, you know. So I feel like the best way to work out any problem, but sometimes like we all see every day that couples break up and the kids suffer from it, because sometimes the mom go through like such a bad stress, they can't focus enough to raise the kids right. You know what I'm saying? They're not even feeding their kids right, but because their mindset is not really at the right place, because they're so hurt over the breakup or whatever they're going through, you know. So the best advice for families to those trying to find ways to work it out, or before you make a serious decision, think about who's really affecting at the end of the day, because you want to care for your kids' future. Because sometimes we make a big decision and it affects our kids 15 years. They grow up with that anger, oh, my dad left or my mom left. They feel neglected. So it's a lot. So having a happy home where the kids is being raised right, the mom and dad is happy, that's the best thing, you know.
I think it's very important for the relationship of the mom and dad to be strong, because if you guys are strong, your kids will be okay. You know, like it's hard to have a child, period. Imagine having a child with a broken marriage or a broken relationship. Like
on top of like past experience. Like for me, like my parents, like they did not have a good marriage, divorce. Like there was domestic violence and all that. So all that I still remember today. So you know, it's things that you just grow up and it doesn't remove from your head.
Ever.
Yeah. But I think that's what has made you a great father.
Thank you.
So thank God, because it could have been the other way around too. He could have became the abuser. Because that's what he saw. But he took it the other way, and he decided to not live that life. He decided he wanted to be different, which thank God. Because we would not be together.
So what's your nationality?
I'm half Venezuelan, half Dominican.
And you?
I'm Dominican.
Oh, so cool. So cool. So you guys have like, is your mom Dominican?
both of my parents were Dominican, but I just happened to be born in Venezuela.
Oh.
Yeah, she was traveling over there, and she, part of her family is from over there.
So the cultural ways were easy for you to actually get along.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a lot of things in common when it came to that.
Yeah, because literally I was just born in Venezuela. Besides that, I don't know anything else besides that.
And you have part
I grew up with Dominicans. I know everything, so it was just like.
You didn't really connect with the people from Venezuela, right?
That's nice.
Well, that's dope. Though. You see the message what he said? He saw his parents been through like domestic violence, whatever. But
I'm gonna put this up, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, man. But you choose another road.
Yeah.
In life, there's a saying that say you need a good and a bad. And the reason why you need a bad sometimes to realize what you don't want to do. So you growing up probably seeing like domestic violence, it's like that's what I don't want to do. So you need that to know that's bad. I don't need to be doing that. I need to go another way, and you choose another way, and that's why you guys are here right now and happy, So we sometimes it's always some good come from the bad, and we don't see. But there's always it's not the charm of being never really leave, or you can't forget it. But we always want to make the best choice for our kids for the future.
It's kind of like when they say like. You see successful people, but you don't really see everything that they went through.
That's right.
Exactly. But let's take it on. What's the best advice could you guys give to a young couple that probably, went through the same stuff you guys went through, and how could they actually fix that problem? Really, maybe it's not as easy as for him, but with their partner, because he actually changed it when you give him the ultimatum. What if for their relationship, the guy don't change that easy? He probably like, you know what? You probably say it, but never really do it. What's the best advice you give that?
Mine's gonna be shorter. I would say you have to, if you really see yourself with that person, I would say you have to sit down and actually have a conversation. Your marriage is gonna be based on communication. If you don't have communication, it's not going to work.
Right.
So if you really if you feel like, okay, I want to work, but I don't know how she feels or he feels, you need to sit down and say, okay, this is what we need to do. All right, can you do it? Are you willing to do it? And if the answer varies, then it's not meant to work with everybody. So, but if you get it up front, then you don't have to waste 10 years and then get a divorce 10 years down the line because it didn't work out.
I think as a woman, from a woman's perspective, it's all about just standing your ground and valuing yourself as a woman. Also, keep in mind, what kind of a woman are you? Because if you are the type of woman who yourself, you're not giving your all to this person, or you are not being cooperative with that person as well, you also need to look in and say, why is this person being the way they are? And if you know that there's things that you need to improve of, also try to improve yourself, because it's always not just about the other person.
Right.
But if you know that you're giving it your all and this person is not treating you right, and you sit down and you have a conversation with this person and they're not willing to change, I feel like there's no negotiating that. Like, you have to get up and go, because this person will bring you down, and this person will not let you grow. If you guys are not on the same page, it's gonna affect everything all across the board. And so just value yourself, know what you want from life, have a conversation with this person. This person is not willing to change, it's time to go.
I like that. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Because it really does take two. It's not always just the man.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, why does he treat me like this? But I've been in situations where some of my friends and family, I see why they don't grow. I'm like, you just need to change, girl. You know, just change a little bit, just a little bit.
Just like blaming the other person, like, no, you don't do that.
Right, but sometimes they're the problem.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen both scenarios, and it's like, we have to be honest with ourselves and know when we're messing up. Like, because nobody is perfect, and especially if you start a relationship young, you guys are growing together, you're gonna make mistakes, and you have to own up to them. You can't let pride take over. Like, you cannot. And it's hard, especially when you have high standards and you feel like, you're always right. Especially when we're young, we think we're always right. But the pride, it has to go. It has to go. He is very prideful sometimes. But
what a setup.
But I tell him, I'm like, your pride is taking over right now. Like, you need to bring it down.
I tell him that too. I I say the same thing. That is so funny.
It's hard, man. It's a work in progress.
And my husband be like,
It is what it is.
For the years of my entire relationship, I don't be working on my pride, because like especially in the beginning, I was so prideful. I feel like I don't want to deal with certain stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, pride will stop us a lot. It stops
It would.
a lot of stuff in life because we think that we know what that's right. You know what I'm saying? And we want to stand for what we believe. Knowing that we in a relationship, we can't be selfish. You got to think about the other person as well. You know, so a big part of it is just we being selfish, just stuck up in our ways. I feel like we should always get it away.
And even like your career, your anything you want to do. If you're prideful, and I know this, but I'm still like.
Maybe you should take your own advice now.
Yeah, listen, the pride can stop you. And our dad gave me a good example of pride, man. Our dad gave me a story. It's a long story, but I'm gonna keep it short though. You mentioned that how much the family business could have been like so successful right now. But because of pride, one of the family members they sold the business out of anger. So I know that business is a big business that been all over the world right now. So the family could have that, but because of pride, they sold it. So it's like we need to look into ourselves sometime, you know, because sometimes we just throwing away our kids' future, not even knowing it. You know?
Pride could be our worst enemy in every aspect.
And it comes back to the communication. She tells me that I'm prideful, and LIANA tells him, if you don't tell that person is not gonna know. So I'm just like, this is normal. This is regular. So.
And sometimes you just walk off like he's this, he's that, he's blah, blah, blah. But you like he's saying, like it is important for you to tell that person. Don't just keep it to yourself, because then you keep everything to yourself, and there comes one day where you explode. And you just want to smack each other. Trust me.
That comes
Save yourself the headache.
I agree with you.
Yeah, that's why I told you all the time though. Every time we have an argument, I tell her I appreciate our argument, because I learned where I messed up and I need to work on, you know. So every fight we have, I become a better person after. It's true. You know, because I know I'm
totally
not
agree. I think everything we've been through too, as well, is why we are the way we are with each other today. So definitely, sometimes arguments, you have to take them, learn from them, and grow. If you don't do that,
because some people stuck to they'll never learn. They're doing the same thing, arguing the same thing for years, and it's just like, nah, y'all gotta grow, you know.
Relationships are funny.
Again, you only see the nice photos outside.
Yeah, I think another part of relationships that is very important is finance. You have to be on the same page. You either both want to like live a normal life and settle and just be content with what you have, and you both are happy, but there can't be one who's more ambitious than the other.
I agree.
Because if that happens, you will never see eye to eye, because the other person is always trying to excel and you're comfortable over here like nah, I'm good, I'm going to my job, and you know, which is cool. But I think when it comes, if you want to find a relationship and be stable with a person, finances is a conversation that needs to happen. It is not a maybe. Like, no, like the first date you could be talking about that. Like, that is so important. Finances could be something that breaks a relationship. Like, if you don't see eye to eye with finances, it's not gonna work.
They say that they say that to be partners and like business partners and lovers is the hardest thing in the world. It is. Very hard.
Try being YouTubers.
It's the hardest thing in the world. So I agree with you. You guys have to talk about it, man, because that could really end everything.
That's a whole nother conversation about finance.
Yeah,
because that's serious though, like you said. It's very, very serious, you know. But it's a conversation to talk about.
Yeah, that's awesome to talk about.
We've experienced with that too. Starting YouTube, it was very hard.
Very hard. Because I didn't want to do YouTube.
Really?
Really, like I was like, come on, man. I just had a baby. I felt fat. I felt ugly. I was going through postpartum. I was like, man, this ain't for me. But I go through bad postpartum. Like I'll just be breaking down. He's like, well, if you don't want to do YouTube, I'll step. Like, I want to go for my goals. So when I see how serious he was, I was like, I gotta do YouTube. Let's do it. Let's try it out. And then we started doing it, and it was really a lot of conflict because he was like, you're not doing it right. He was like really like my boss. He was like a boss. Like
That is what it felt like too. Yeah.
He was that. It has to be like this, like this, like this, or it ain't gonna work. So putting that pressure, it took me some years to understand him. Years. It took me like 3 years to understand him. But now that I do understand him today, he was like, do you understand why I was like that?
Yeah.
So we here today because of how he was with me. But it broke me. It broke me down. Like I thought I was in the worst marriage. I didn't feel love, you know, because it wasn't about us. It was just business, working. So it broke me in a lot of ways. But now that I'm here today, and we never left each other's side, and we love each other, we have the time to actually love each other, I appreciate it. You know, because we could have been working a 9 to 5, still never seeing each other, still going through trauma, still paying, like barely could pay bills, you know. So I'm thankful, but that was a struggle.
It was a struggle because...
But that took faith from you. You had faith in what he was telling you.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have faith, you probably would have just been like, forget it. I don't want to do this. But something inside you told you, I need to have faith in my partner and what he's telling me. And look at you now.
I was his wife, so I felt like I have to do what he wants. Like I believe in chasing his goals with him. You know, I was like, I have to do that for him. And you know, when I wanted something, he did it for me. If I believed in something or wanted something done, so I felt like as a wife, I had to give him that much.
My plan back then was to literally show the vision, you know, because if you have an idea, business plan, whatever it is, your vision or you plan it or you want it to happen, you know. So it's like you starting off, nobody gonna see the vision. It's your vision. So it's like you see, you know how far you want to take this. So when you want to break it to somebody to get them on the vision, it's hard because it's not their vision. They don't see it. So to break it into drill it in their head, like, it's gonna be like a hard transition. It was really hard for her because she doesn't see herself ever doing YouTube at all. You know, she would see herself being like a dentist, artist, whatever it is. But I'm saying, babe, we can make more money than them. Bigger, we can make bigger. But to go to that, get to where we are right now, we've been through a struggle. It's like a rough, like transition. Like I could say, breaker. And it's not like I'm meant to deliver the breaker, but the fact that if you're gonna do a business, you gotta to be on it. It's not something you can stay. I want to do whenever. You're never gonna get there. You know, you literally gotta be on it. Like, yo, this is serious. I really want this. You gotta be hungry for it. You can't say, oh, I'm gonna do it next month. You're gonna be stuck. And I was tired of 9 to 5. I was going through a bad depression, stress out. So it's like a lot of that probably take a lot of frustration. And you know what I'm saying, but I mean, it's worth it in the end.
Yeah, it was.
You're absolutely right. That's one of the reasons why. I don't know how you guys came across my YouTube. That one day, like maybe like about a year ago, you guys came across my YouTube and I noticed you guys are from the Bronx. And that caught my attention because we were at the Bronx too at that point. And I was like, look, they're doing YouTube and they're from the Bronx. I had never seen a YouTube channel from people from the Bronx.
Everybody's like in LA or like Texas. I'm like,
and so that captivated me. And then I kept watching your videos and I was like, I admire their ambition and the way they just put out these videos. Like, you guys did your thing, still are doing your thing. That's very hard.
It was hard too.
I admire you guys for that because 2016 we started. We still very slow. Today we've been very consistent with TikTok. Our TikTok is growing a lot. Our Instagram, but with YouTube we have to pick up the pace. And I'm telling you guys are an inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And but it took us saying like, so I started. I'm a photographer too as a hobby on the side. But we started in 2020. We opened up a company like, and I was taking clients and all that. But those 2 years, literally we threw away our personal brands and our YouTube and all that because we was just like, oh, just photography clients and all that. And then come to the end of last year, I'm like, we can't do this. I'm like, we making other people's nice content and we're the ones that want to actually do this.
Right.
And I just stopped. I was like, nah, I'm focusing on us. And you know, it's been working out since we did that. We just got to be even more consistent.
That's hard. That's the hard part.
Yep.
I was with 2 kids, a newborn, and it just had to go every day. And on top of that, he was working, I was working. So we just had to make it happen. It was very hard.
That was a hard, but I believe in like you really have to. I post a quote today. You start broke, you work hard, and live 3 years after. You gotta really set up yourself for the future. Because now I don't have to report to a 9 to 5. Because of the work we put in. You know what I'm saying? So it's never gonna be easy. But it's worth it.
For real.
You know, it's worth it to be honest. And all you got to do is keep doing the grind, you know?
Yes.
Consistency is the key.
Yeah.
Being consistent is the key. It's not going to be easy, but think about it. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it have to be hard.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for coming out. And
Thank you guys for having us.
Yes.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Guys, make sure to subscribe to the Fab Family. Fab Family, right?
Yeah, we
Yes, the
appreciate
Fab
it.
Family. You can find us on TikTok and on YouTube. And yeah.
Okay.
if you go to our YouTube, you can find our Instagrams there. But
You can shout
TikTok,
it out if you want. You can shout your Instagram.
well, my Instagram is Jessica_Nunez_TV.
Oh,
And mine
nice.
is mine is _Darwin.Nunez_. But
nice.
all that is linked on like the Fat Family YouTube.
Follow us on TikTok. We're lit on TikTok.
So guys, make sure to go follow them, and thank you guys. You guys are a dope couple, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so
keep
much.
grinding.
Couple, yes, and never give up.
Appreciate
Never give up. Awesome relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I see the chemistry with you guys. It's so good. I love it.
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Like,
Like, share,
share,
subscribe.
Oh.
Peace.